In a small village in the heart of the desert, Ali Baba, a humble woodcutter, went about his daily work. The sun blazed down as he chopped wood, unaware that his life was about to change forever. One day, while he was in the forest, Ali Baba saw a group of 40 men dressed in black robes riding on horseback. They made their way to a hidden part of the forest, and Ali Baba, curious, followed them at a distance. He watched as the men approached a large rock. One of them, a tall man with a scar across his face, spoke the words, "Open sesame." To Ali Baba's astonishment, the rock slid open like a door, revealing a cave inside. The thieves entered the cave and disappeared from view. Ali Baba stood frozen, his heart pounding. He had just witnessed something magical and mysterious. After the thieves left, Ali Baba cautiously approached the cave. His curiosity was too strong to resist. With trembling hands, he whispered the magic words, "Open sesame!" The stone door opened and Ali Baba stepped inside. His eyes widened as he saw piles of gold coins, sparkling jewels, and treasures beyond his imagination. He had never seen so much wealth in his life. Though he was poor, Ali Baba was not greedy. He took only a small handful of gold coins, enough to improve his life. After taking the treasure, he left the cave and sealed the door behind him. He was determined to keep the secret, but he couldn't help but wonder about the thieves. Who were they, and how had they come to hide such riches? When Ali Baba returned to his village, he could hardly believe his luck. He went to his brother, Cassim, a wealthy merchant who was always envious of Ali Baba's simple life. Ali Baba showed Cassim the gold coins he had taken from the cave. Cassim's eyes widened with greed. "Where did you get this, brother?" he demanded. Ali Baba hesitated, but Cassim insisted, his voice harsh. "Tell me where you found this treasure." Reluctantly, Ali Baba told Cassim about the secret cave. Greed overtook Cassim's heart, and he made plans to go to the cave himself. The next morning, Cassim rode to the cave, eager to claim more treasure for himself. He spoke the magic words, "Open sesame." The stone door opened and he entered the cave. Cassim was so overwhelmed by the treasures that he forgot about the magic words to close the door. As he tried to leave, the door would not open. Panic set in. He shouted for help, but no one could hear him. The thieves returned to the cave and caught Cassim. They were furious that he had stolen from them. Without mercy, they killed him and left his body inside the cave. When Ali Baba heard nothing from his brother, he grew worried. He went to the cave, hoping to find Cassim. To his horror, he found his brother's lifeless body inside. Ali Baba was heartbroken. His brother's greed had led to his death. Ali Baba quickly took Cassim's body and buried it in secret. He could not tell anyone what had happened for fear of the thieves returning. But his heart ached for his brother and the life he had lost. Meanwhile, the thieves discovered that someone had stolen from their treasure hoard. They were furious and began searching for the culprit. They marked the entrances to every village, hoping to find the thief who had dared to steal their wealth. Ali Baba lived in fear, knowing that the thieves would soon come for him. But he had no idea how close they were. The leader of the thieves, a cunning man named Abu Zaid, devised a plan to catch Ali Baba. He disguised himself as a merchant and rode into the village with a large cart filled with oil jars. His men, disguised as merchants, hid inside the jars, waiting for the moment to strike. Ali Baba, unaware of the plot, invited the merchant into his home, offering him food and shelter. But Morgiana, Ali Baba's clever servant, was watching from a distance. Morgiana, who was always watchful and sharp, noticed something strange about the merchant's cart. She carefully inspected the jars and realized that they were not filled with oil at all. She opened one and found a thief hiding inside. Morgiana's heart raced, but she remained calm. She quickly devised a plan. That night, while the thieves slept in their jars, Morgiana poured boiling oil into each one, killing them all. The leader, Abu Zaid, was the last to die, screaming in pain as the oil burned him alive. Morgiana had saved Ali Baba once again. Though the thieves were gone, Morgiana knew that danger was still afoot. She had heard rumors of more bandits in the area, and she feared that someone might have learned of the secret cave. One day, a rich traveler arrived in the village claiming to be a merchant. He wore fine clothes and promised to bring great fortune to anyone who helped him. But Morgiana's instincts told her that he was hiding something. The rich traveler approached Ali Baba, offering him a large sum of money in exchange for a small favor. He wanted to know where the treasure cave was. Ali Baba, remembering the death of his brother, refused to tell the man anything. The traveler, realizing that he would not get the information he wanted, decided to take matters into his own hands. That night, he tried to break into Ali Baba's house, but Morgiana was one step ahead. She overheard his plan and prepared a trap. After Morgiana saved Ali Baba by killing the leader of the thieves, she approached her master quietly. "Master, the last of your enemies is gone," she whispered. "We are safe, but their greed will always be a warning." Ali Baba, his heart full of gratitude, invited the entire village to a feast of celebration. He prepared the finest dishes of lamb, spiced rice, and honey-dipped sweets. His house was filled with laughter and joy, but in his heart, he carried the memory of his brother Cassim's tragic fate. As the guests feasted, Morgiana remained vigilant. She knew the cost of carelessness. Every flicker of a shadow, every strange whisper made her grip her dagger tighter. She would never let danger find her master again. That evening, Ali Baba told the tale of the thieves to his closest friends. He spoke of treasure hidden behind magic doors, of greed that consumed even the strongest men, and of the loyalty of a servant more courageous than any warrior. The villagers listened with wide eyes. "What became of the treasure?" an old man asked. Ali Baba paused. "We will use it wisely, not for greed, but to help those in need. Gold is only as good as the heart that holds it." Morgiana nodded, her eyes sharp. "It is not riches that make a man wealthy, but wisdom and kindness." With the treasure from the cave, Ali Baba did not build a grand palace or wear fine robes. Instead, he shared his fortune. He repaired the village's crumbling well, provided food for the hungry, and built a school where every child could learn. People came from far and wide to marvel at his generosity. "Ali Baba the woodcutter has become Ali Baba the wise," they whispered. But Ali Baba remained humble. One night, a stranger came to Ali Baba's door. His face was worn, and his clothes hung in tatters. "I have lost my way," the man said. "Please, may I rest here for the night?" Morgiana watched the man closely. There was something familiar in his eyes, a shadow of deceit. She did not trust him. That night, while the man slept, Morgiana searched his belongings. Beneath his ragged cloak, she found a small blade and a map. The map bore a mark, the cave of the 40 thieves. Morgiana woke Ali Baba in the dead of night. "Master, this man is not who he claims to be. He seeks the treasure you guard." Ali Baba's eyes hardened. "Greed knows no end. We must be vigilant." When dawn broke, the man found his blade missing. His eyes flickered with anger, but he spoke sweetly. "Thank you for your kindness, Ali Baba. May your fortune grow forever." Morgiana acted swiftly. She knocked the merchant's cup from his hand, and the poison spilled onto the floor. Gasps filled the room. Ali Baba turned to her, his heart full of gratitude. "You have saved me once again. You are more than a servant, you are family." Morgiana bowed her head. "I seek no reward but the safety of those I love." But Ali Baba insisted. He gave her freedom and a portion of the treasure. She became known throughout the land as the brave and clever Morgiana. Ali Baba and his family lived in peace, guarding the lessons of greed and loyalty forever.